Golden FM 97.5.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on Golden FM's national and world news. In the headlines, President Tinubu vows decisive victory over terrorism, pledges stronger global security ties. Senate orders strict enforcement of sachet alcohol ban from December 2025. Vice President Shettima, others hail Governor Diri's transformative impact on education. Bayelsa government says local council reforms boost efficiency, service delivery. On the foreign scene, President Biya vows to restore calm in Cameroon as he begins 8th term amid post-election unrest. Details coming up shortly. Many thanks once again for joining us on the national and world news. I am Moye Steving. Now the details. A recent report from a U.S.-based newspaper says the U.S. military is preparing possible airstrike plans in Nigeria. According to the report, the U.S. Africa Command has submitted several military options to the Department of Defense, following a request from Secretary Pete Hegseth to act on President Donald Trump's orders. Officials who spoke to the newspaper said the plans include 3 levels of military action, described as heavy, medium, and light. Earlier, President Trump directed the Pentagon to prepare to intervene to protect Christians from terrorist attacks. Meanwhile, the United States has turned its focus on Nigeria's Middle Belt, targeting groups accused of violating religious freedom with potential sanctions and restrictions. A new bill introduced in Congress by Representative Christopher Smith proposes measures including visa bans and asset freezes against members of Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria and Miyetti Allah Cattle Hore. President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria will decisively defeat terrorism, assuring that his administration is intensifying global diplomatic engagements and accelerating efforts to restore enduring peace and security across the country. The president made the declaration at the State House, Abuja, after he swore in 2 newly appointed ministers before the commencement of the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting held on Thursday. He affirmed that his administration is constructively engaging the international community through diplomatic means while remaining steadfast in its commitments to defeating terrorism and ensuring national stability. He also acknowledged the scale of the security and economic challenges confronting the nation. Mr. Waliga, during the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, also used the opportunity to give an overview of the progress so far made by the administration and said that the Nigerian economy has improved to the extent that the country is now a desired destination for investments. The ministers who were sworn in are Dr. Bernard Doro from Plateau State and Mr. Kingsley Uday from Enugu State. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved major road projects and contract reviews worth more than 400 billion naira to boost road infrastructure and ease movement across the country. Senator David Umahi, Minister of Works, made this known while briefing newsmen after the council's meeting chaired by President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. He explained that one of the key approvals was the redesign and upgrade of the East-West Road to enhance traffic flow and strengthen its pavement. The project, valued at about 156 billion naira, will include dual carriageways and bridges to ensure smoother connectivity across the Niger Delta region. Among other road projects, the minister also announced the approval of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway Phase 2, Section 2, at 43 billion naira to fix failed portions and complete underpasses and ramps. Senator Umahi noted that several states have now taken over some federal road projects within their areas to fast-track delivery and reduce funding pressure on the federal government. He reaffirmed that the President Tinubu's administration is committed to using concrete technology in road construction for durability and long-term value. The Senate has directed the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, and other relevant regulatory bodies to strictly enforce the ban on the packaging of high-strength alcoholic beverages in sachet formats beginning December 2025. The lawmakers further resolved that no additional extension should be granted beyond the current moratorium. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion sponsored by Senator Asukwo Ekpenyong on the need to halt further extension of the phase-out of alcoholic beverages packaged in sachet formats. Following brief deliberations, the Senate resolved to also instruct the Federal Ministry of Health to remove any impediments preventing NAFDAC from carrying out its enforcement responsibilities. The lawmakers also asked the Ministry of Health to expedite a release of the National Alcohol Policy, which should clearly prohibit sachet packaging of high-strength alcoholic beverages and support coordinated public sensitization efforts. Some members of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) on Thursday held a protest at the United States Embassy in Abuja. The protesters called for international support to protect Nigeria's democracy and prevent the country from becoming a one-party state. They also submitted protest letters to the U.S. Embassy, the European Union complex, and the Ministry of Justice. Carrying placards, the demonstrators accused the ruling APC of intimidating opposition members and urged both the international community and the Ministry of Justice to step in to protect the judiciary and democratic system. Ambassador Umar Damagum, the factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), has warned those he described as betrayers of the party to remember that the law of karma is real and active. He issued the warning on Thursday in Abuja during a meeting with the Forum of State PDP chairmen who were in the capital to reaffirm their allegiance to his leadership. Meanwhile, the faction of PDP loyal to Chief Nyesom Wike, the minister of the FCT, has postponed the Ekiti State governorship primary election, earlier scheduled for Saturday, November 8, 2025. The faction said the primary election was postponed due to logistics issues. The PDP disclosed this in a letter signed by Mr. Abdurrahman Mohammed, their embattled acting national chairman, and Senator Samuel Anyanwu, national secretary. The letter was addressed to Professor Joash Amupitan, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). The family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra (IPOB), has raised concern that he may be unable to appear in court for his trial today, Friday, due to alleged obstruction by the Department of State Services (DSS). In a statement signed by Mr. Emmanuel Kanu, the family accused the DSS of frustrating Mazi Kanu's ability to prepare his defense by restricting his access to lawyers, family members, and key witnesses. The family also claimed that the security agency has denied him access to a computer and printer needed to prepare court documents and has refused to allow him to file necessary papers ahead of the hearing. They called on the United Nations, African Union, European Union, and human rights organizations to intervene and ensure justice is not denied. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has commenced the distribution of sensitive election materials to local government areas across Anambra State ahead of Saturday's governorship election. The distribution exercise began on Thursday at the INEC headquarters in Awka under tight security. Mrs. Queen Agu, resident electoral commissioner, supervised the process alongside Mr. Abayomi Shogunle, the commissioner of police for election duty. The police chief assured that security operatives are fully prepared to provide protection across both land and riverine communities during the polls. Earlier, INEC disclosed that a total of 2,802,790 registered voters are expected to cast their ballots in 5,718 polling units across the state's 21 local government areas. The commission added that elections will not hold in 2 polling units where no registered voters were recorded. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC) has confirmed that at least 176 people have died from Lassa fever in 21 states across the country. In its latest situation report, the agency said 955 cases have been confirmed from over 8,000 suspected infections recorded in 102 local government areas, although the number of infections has slightly reduced compared to the same period last year. The case fatality rate has worsened, rising from 16.6% in 2024 to 18.4% this year. Ondo, Bauchi, Edo, and Taraba states remain the worst hit, accounting for nearly 90% of all confirmed cases so far. The NCDC explained that most of the victims are young adults between the ages of 21 and 30. adding that late presentation of symptoms and poor health-seeking behavior continue to increase the death toll. The agency also identified poor sanitation and a high cost of treatment as major factors driving the spread of the disease in affected areas. It said a national response team is actively coordinating control efforts across the country while urging state governments to intensify community awareness and environmental hygiene campaigns while advising health workers to ensure early diagnosis and prompt treatment of suspected cases. You're listening to the Golden Sunrise National and World News on 97.5 Golden FM. Still to come, more news. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. You are still listening to the Golden Sunrise National and World News on 97.5 Golden FM. And now for the rest of the bulletin. Vice President Kashim Shettima, Governor Caleb Mufwang of Plateau State, and Professor Folashade Ogunshola, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, have commended Governor Doye Diri for his outstanding contributions to the education sector and visionary leadership. They gave the commendation at a special event held at the University of Lagos, which featured a public lecture, book presentation, and the launch of a professorial chair in honor of Governor Diri. Speaking at the ceremony, Senator Shettima, represented by Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, Lagos State Deputy Governor, described Governor Diri's leadership style as refreshing and people-centered. He said the Bayelsa governor's achievements in less than 6 years reflected compassion, competence, and commitment to inclusive governance. On his part, Governor Mufwang, who delivered the keynote address, described Governor Diri as a true Nigerian leader who embodies the ideals of good governance through both words and action, while Professor Ogunshola noted that the book, Leadership Chronicles of Governor Doye Diri, offers deep insights into governance, conflict management, and peace building in the Niger Delta region. She said it also presents valuable lessons on leadership in complex environments. In his response, Governor Diri expressed gratitude to the university and organizers of the event, saying that an honor would inspire him and his team to do more for the people of Bayelsa. He also dedicated the recognition to the entire state. The event, which attracted dignitaries from across Nigeria, also saw donations worth over 1 billion naira in support of the professorial chair and educational development. Bayelsa State Government says its reforms in local government administration has repositioned the various councils and rural development authorities, RDAs, in the state for efficient and effective service delivery to the people. Senator Lawrence Orujakpo, the deputy governor, stated this on Thursday while declaring open a 2-day entrepreneurship workshop for retiring local government staff drawn from the 8 councils and 32 rural development authorities RDAs in the state. Senator Orujakpo, in a statement issued by Mr. Dobera Tasi, his senior special assistant on media, noted that all the local government councils are now solvent and embarking on meaningful people-oriented projects due to the bold initiatives of the present administration. According to him, before the advent of Governor Doye Diri, the local government service was like inviting a curse, stressing that the prospects of getting retirement benefits as at when due were dim. Senator Orujakpo, however, emphasized that all that had now changed for the better following the reforms, and promised to do more to ensure that people at the grassroots feel real impact of governance. While appreciating Governor Doye Diri for creating the enabling environment for him to drive the reforms as the supervising officer of the councils and RDAs, he urged the participants to take the training seriously to safeguard their post-retirement life from unnecessary hardship and frustration. In a welcome address, Chief Lambert Ototo, the chairman of the State Local Government Service Commission, noted that the training was part of the ongoing reforms in the local government system to adequately prepare retirees for life after active service. Chief Ototo, who described the participants as fortunate to undergo the pre-retirement workshop, expressed gratitude to Governor Doye Diri and his deputy for turning the pitiable situation of the local government system and the state around for good. Delivering a lecture entitled Understanding Entrepreneurship and Life After Service, Dr. Zuabumodo Agbana, enjoined the participants and retirees to cheerfully embrace retirement, as it only marks the beginning of a new journey in life and not the end of work. Dr. Agbana also charged them to apply entrepreneurship in their retirement phase of life as a tool to enable them achieve financial independence and make impact in their various communities. And in business, President Bola Tinubu has ordered a total ban on the sale or transfer of properties belonging to the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria (FAN) located within or around airport premises. The directive was announced by Honorable Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, while briefing state newsmen after the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. He said the order overrides any previous attempts by past administrations to sell or lease such assets, describing them as vital national properties that must remain under government ownership. The minister warned that anyone claiming to have acquired any of the affected properties should consider such transactions invalid, as the government will not recognize them. Now, moving on to the foreign scene. President Paul Biya of Cameroon has pledged to restore peace and unity in the country as he begins his 8th term in office, following weeks of violent protests over disputed election results. The 92-year-old leader, one of the world's oldest presidents, gave the assurance during his swearing-in ceremony in Yaoundé, the nation's capital. He expressed sympathy for victims of the unrest, but blamed what he called irresponsible politicians for fueling the crisis. President Biya urged Cameroonians to move beyond the elections and join hands in building what he described as a united and prosperous nation. He also promised renewed attention to issues affecting women and young people, alongside a firm commitment to fight corruption and insecurity. That's the Golden Sunrise National and World News on 97.5 Golden FM Yenagua. But before we go, here is a recap of our major stories. President Bola Tinubu has vowed decisive victory over terrorism and pledged stronger global security ties. Senate has ordered strict enforcement of sachet alcohol ban from December 2025. Vice President Kashim Shettima and others have hailed Governor Doyedere's transformative impact on education. Bayelsa State Government has said its local council reforms boost efficiency and service delivery. On the foreign scene, President Paul Biya has vowed to restore calm in Cameroon as he begins 8th term amid post-election unrest. For news stories, comments, and observations, please send us an email at goldenfmyenagua@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok on 97.5 Golden FM Yenagua. The news was edited by Bright Okwo. I am Moye Stiving. Good morning.
Golden FM 97.5.